Board meeting of the Waterloo Board of Education to order at 5 o'clock. First item is a moment of silence. Our next item is Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Janelle, you want to read the mission? Sure. Director Ewing will read our mission statement.
The Waterloo Schools will set the standard for urban education by ensuring that every student is given the comprehensive support and diverse experiences needed to graduate with a diploma and a plan.
Thank you. The next item is information from individuals and delegations, so bear with me while I set the stage here. This is an opportunity for those who wish to address the board. They may do so, and we welcome all comments. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Mrs. Arndorfer will hold up a yellow card when you have 30 seconds remaining and a red card when your time is expired. At that time, I will ask you to conclude your public remarks. Please keep your comments respectful and constructive. We're all here with the goal of trying to help students. Please avoid criticizing job performance of specific employees of the school district. Personal matters are confidential and must be handled through proper channels and not in a public forum. Finally, we provide this opportunity for public comments, but it's generally not a back and forth conversation, especially of items not on the agenda. At times, we'll try to help if we can provide information before or after the meeting, but we have to proceed with our board meeting agenda items. With that, I invite anyone who wishes to address the board, come forward, state your name and your home address, please. Oh, come on, I didn't do all that for nothing, did I? Okay, seeing no one. First item of business is donation from Viridian Credit Union. Superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education accepts with gratitude this donation in the amount of $5,000 from Viridian Credit Union to fund our PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Support incentives in our secondary schools. This was originally requested by West High, but Viridian Credit Union elected to provide support for our 3 high schools and our 4 middle schools.
Yes, so I'll start. Adrian Carlson, Associate Director of Student Services.
Is the green light on?
Yes. Let me move a little bit closer here. Okay, is that better?
Check again.
Is there,
that
excuse
better?
me, is there a motion for?
So moved.
And second? Okay. Proceed.
Okay. Yep, the green light's on. Are you able, is it okay?
Can you hold the mic a little bit closer to you?
Yep. Does that work? Okay, perfect. Adrian Carlson, Associate Director of Student Services, and I have Wade Timmons here, who is an Assistant Principal at West High. And actually, Wade submitted the original request to Viridian for incentives at West High, and Viridian, Angela Weekly, reached out and said she would like to support all of our secondary buildings with incentives. So these incentives go towards attendance, achievement, building culture, but we're really excited to be able to accept these $500 per middle school and $1,000 per high school. So Wade, do you have any comments you'd like to share?
I think the biggest thing is we're just looking for more opportunities to help celebrate the fantastic things that our kids are doing and our staff are doing each and every day.
So it's mostly marketing or?
No, this would be tied to our attendance, so different incentives we've got within the building, looking at with the culture, with our staff, celebrating Staff of the Month, that students are nominating, celebrating Students of the Month that staff are nominating, different incentives like that.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Do you have like a set, like some examples that you've used it for in the past or used money like this
So
before?
we've used, the funds that we've had at hand, we've used to celebrate, like I said, Students of the Month and Staff of the Month, because it's been pretty limited.
Yeah.
So last year was when I just took on this role and also started kind of revamping how many partners in ed we had and reaching out to new businesses and making connections. So again, this is new to me. This is my second year doing it. So I just happened to come across Veridian and reached out to see if they'd be able to help support us.
Very cool.
You guys said, is it on? You said this is for both high schools or just,
Yep, it's for all 3 of the high schools and all 4 of our middle schools.
okay, gotcha.
Any more questions? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Passes 5-0. Okay, our next item is information. Yeah. Thank you, Veridian. Next item is an information-only item. It's information about our advanced programs. And Sharice Ortman is here to share her information.
Hi, Board. It's that time of year again. Annual update on advanced programs, and I have 3 guests with me tonight, so following a short presentation, if you'd like to speak with 2 of our young scholars, I have Sophie and Kanan here. Behind me. And then I also have Miss Knight, who has the all-time highest AP score that we've had in the district of her averages in the spring. So if you want to talk to her and how she was able to have 97% of her AP Psych students pass the AP Psych test and an average above the world and state, she's here tonight too, so Miss Knight. Okay, I'm going to try out this new contraption. Y'all ready for it? Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen, and I believe in your packet, I have extra copies if you'd like them. The high school rankings that came out in the spring, I want to show you how they're tied to what we've been doing with advanced programs. So this was our USA News high school rankings. You can see there the headline, and then the first opening statement, I'll let you go ahead and read that, about West and East climb significantly. Really big deal, like really big deal, right? I mean, big deal. I don't know if you know, but West High was actually ahead of Waukee in this poll. So if you're competitive, and I know Jared is, that's pretty awesome. So I just wanted to show you how our advanced programs tie to that score. You can see down below, 30% of what's measured is college readiness, and there's 2 indicators. The number of seniors who took 1 or more AP or IB tests, and the number of seniors who earned a qualifying score. AP qualifying score is 3, 4, 5 out of 5. IB qualifying score is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. They're on a 7-point scale. The other thing that is calculated is 10% is college curriculum breadth, and that's the number who earned qualifying scores on multiple AP and IB exams. And one thing I'm really proud of in this district, our kids don't just take 1 IB or 1 AP, they take multiple. And as we've built up the advanced pathways over the years to include high school credits in 8th grade, we have more and more kids by the time they're a junior and senior are taking all college courses. And one of the things I wanted to highlight is that we had 86 college classes last year and this year. Last year, we recovered almost $1 million. You see that on the preview for tonight. I believe it was like $987,000 and change. That was transferable credits and academic scholarships for our students last year. $1 million, thank you. I really don't need clapping every time. Okay, pretty cool. Those are the other indicators that make up that score, but I wanted you to know that 40% is tied to our advanced programs. IB is celebrating its 10th anniversary. This is a big deal for us to reboot the IB diploma program. There's a few of you on the board who were, oh, yes,
I'd like to take a 30-second recess to yield the chair
yes.
to President Williams.
Bob can't wait to switch.
Just waiting. Lyle, I'm glad you know etiquette. All right. So this year is IB Diploma Program's 10th year anniversary. We offer it at both East and West High School. And I had the privilege 11 years ago to come down to this big, beautiful building and authorize both East and West High School. And it's probably been one of the biggest gifts of my life to go through that process with all the teachers and the students here in the Waterloo schools. So we have a 10-year reboot. So we're just starting off, just kind of sharing and showcasing. Right now there's a quick little minute-and-a-half video of our current IB diploma students who are East and West High School, with 2 of them here tonight. And we're going to bring back some of our graduates. Many of them studying or working abroad. Many of them going on for grad school or their EDD or PhD. We have Stanford and Harvard students from Waterloo schools currently who happen to be black females who are prepared. I mean, we have to look at every opportunity we have for all of our kids. So this one hits a unique group, and I want to showcase them tonight.
I feel like overall I've changed like quite a bit in the way I think, especially like with TOK, it just helps you think about what others are going through, and so it makes you more caring, just change your perspective on the world. When I first came into IB, I didn't really know exactly what everything was, like the creativity activity service CAS, with the extended essay and like all of the different classes and the internal essays and the papers and all that stuff. I didn't know how I was going to do all of that because it all seemed so intimidating, right? But that all kind of went away. In history, we had a practice internal essay, which is just like it's like a paper, a research paper, and it wasn't so bad. And I think after experiencing, doing that research and coming to my own conclusions, it's become a lot easier for me, and I think that will help me in college especially, and just in my future career.
It's been the best decision I've made in terms of what I've done in the last 4 years of high school. I definitely feel like I've made closer connections with friends. I definitely have that community and cohort that I was looking for in school. And I also feel like what we learn in the curriculum that we go through, it not only prepares you for college from what I found, but it also makes you generally a lot more knowledgeable, and you genuinely do feel like you're gaining something out of your education, which I know is something a lot of us students don't feel like we get in a regular classroom.
So at this time, I'll pause if you have any questions for Kanan or Sophie.
Well, come on up and
No questions from me, but I'm just terribly, terribly, terribly jealous about how many AP classes you guys get at your high schools now. Those of us that went through in the 90s, there were maybe 1 or 2. And I really am proud that we get to do that for you, but also really jealous that you got to do that. What was your favorite thing about taking your AP classes and taking the AP exam? I mean, favorite thing about a class, favorite thing about a test, I guess. But what was your favorite thing about taking those classes?
So I took AP Lang my sophomore year, and what I really liked about that class was just how in-depth everything.
Can you step up?
Oh, sorry.
That's low too. Can you step up to the mic? Make sure the green light is on, please.
Should I repeat myself earlier, or are we good?
Is the green light on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so I took AP Lang, and the one thing that I really liked about that class was how in-depth everything went. So even we read literature and all that stuff, but we also examined how the author was trying to, I don't know how to say this, how the author addressed the reader, and just examined how, You go. I lost my words.
I wouldn't say an AP class, but one of my IB classes, IB Econ, was definitely one of my most favorite classes. And it's not just because like we learn what micro or macro is, but like definitely when you go through it, we learn how to apply what we learn in class. So it was like kind of interesting. Like for example, I did one of my internal essays, or tried to at least, over like cigarette laws in Iowa and how that impacts our economy here, our local and state economies. And I thought it was really interesting because not only did I get to learn how it works in class, but I got to learn how it worked in real life. And I think that's really interesting, and I think that's a side you don't really get that often. So I really liked it. And in terms of the exam was definitely hard. Can't say that was easy, but I can say that it wasn't like an AP exam I took, so it was a lot more laid back, I would say. So I didn't feel as pressured, and I could write more, and I could explain more, which I really enjoyed.
So are you both in full IB? What grades are you guys?
We're both 12th grade.
You're both seniors. So first, what does TLK, what was it? Something that was in the video.
TOK's theory of knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, old lady hearing. And what do you feel that you've gotten out of this the most that's going to help you in your next step, and what are your next steps?
Okay. In terms of like IB in like a broad sense, I've gotten a lot of skills that are going to help me in my future. So for example, time management is something that I was really worried about when I first joined IB, but going along and learning how to manage my schedule has been like really important, and I think it'll carry on throughout my career and throughout my future.
One aspect that I would say was like pretty beneficial doing IB is the fact that it's so research heavy. I mean, there's not really a point in the class where you're not actively reading something even for our IAs, for example, in biology, you typically go out and do something in the field or lab, same with chemistry, or if you're doing econ, there's a lot of standards that you have to really understand and be able to go through to be able to do your work properly, and it involves a lot of outside research to do. And I think that's a skill that I've really taken away, is how to do that efficiently. And as for the future, I want to go to go into research, go to a research institute, so I definitely feel like that's obviously a pretty beneficial skill to have.
How many college credits do you expect to have at the end of graduation?
I mean, it depends on which college we go to. Like, for example, if we go to the University of Iowa, they take all of our IB credits as long as we pass our exams.
How many would that be?
6 classes and 2 credits per class? Yeah. So we would have 12 credits.
Very good.
Well, I'd just like to definitely congratulate you on the simple fact that taking the AP and IB courses. In my previous lifetime, I used to recruit students, and I can tell you, students that were in AP and the IB courses, it definitely prepares you for that next level, everything in your academic endeavors. So I just want to congratulate you on that.
Did you feel supported? Do you feel supported going through this, that you have the staff support that you need in order to be successful?
I would say, yeah, I love all my teachers. Like, I think we're all pretty close, I would say. Like, we have interesting conversations, to say the least.
Anything else?
I Ms. Knight, I just wanted to say that your AP test was the only one that my daughter passed, so she was well prepared in psych, just saying, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Again, through our
I feel
advanced
like overall I've changed like quite a bit.
Through our advanced pathways, we really do have something for everyone. So just again to denote, and you have it in your packet if you wanted to look at it further, But IB and AP highlights this year, you can see you'll all be invited to our 10-year anniversary special later this winter. And we are the only IB World diploma program in the whole state of Iowa for our 11th and 12th graders, so that's awesome. You can see the stats on how many kids took exams, and we had Kanan and Sophie in attendance tonight. The fall, that's this year, we have 128 students taking 2 or more IB courses, so we're really proud of that. And then for AP, or advanced placement, we have 9 courses, you can see there. It's the highest AP scores we've had in the last 5 years at West, and the second highest scores in the last 5 years at East. We're really proud of, we have 11 of our 14 teachers who increased their AP averages from a year ago. 246 exams last year were taken, and this is something I'm proud of, by 10th through 12th graders, and 45% were 3s or higher. I don't know how many of you remember 10 years ago, the board asked us to get 30% of our kids at 3s or higher, and we definitely have surpassed that over the years, so I'm very proud of that work. AP Psych, this is where we have Miss Knight. She's awesome. You can see her stats, I already showcased that. She averages 4.07, and the global average is 2.97, and the state average, I believe it's 3.24. So she's just, I'm just so proud of her. And for this fall, I just wanted to show you that we do have 216 kids enrolled in multiple 1 or more AP classes. So Ms. Knight's here. You have any wonders or thoughts for her?
Well, yeah, what's your secret?
I really make the kids in charge of their own learning. Like when we go through and we test, we go through it, I make sure we cover it, and then I really look at the data and I make them look at their own data. And they dig deep into, oh, this is why I don't understand it, or why I do understand it. This is what I need to do differently. And so, and I do allow them to retake a test one time, which helps because they relearn, but they have to do some things with it. And I'm always recycling 20% of my curriculum on every test from previous tests. And I keep them at a very fast pace. But they learn and they enjoy it, so.
So are these graded by you or an outside agency?
Oh, outside agency.
100%?
100%. It's the College Board that grades them, and that's like, they're competing against kids who are taking it in Japan, that are taking worldwide. That's the global that we're talking about. And the kids really step up. In my class, I get a lot of students who don't take any other AP classes. It's like their only AP class. And they're like, I just like, to try this. And one of the things that it gets them so that they can be very successful in college. I have many of my AP students come back to me later and say, your class was the one class that made college easy for me, thank you. And that's really what I want to do for them, make them successful.
Well, once again, I wanted to congratulate you and all the other teachers there. This is a really great accomplishment. Really great accomplishment. The IB courses and AP, they're nothing, I think they're really stringent. And so I just want to reinforce on the simple fact that a real big thank you for your time, your service, and all the teachers involved, because I have a little bit of an idea what you went through. So I just wanted to mention that to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Any more questions, comments?
No, thanks for all
Thank
the
you.
hard work
Thank
and
you.
Good
great
job.
results.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
So when we have our advanced pathway meetings, I said, Kelly, you're going to be presenting. Okay, and then concurrent. Remember, we have something for everybody. Our concurrent classes are all through Hawkeye Community College. You can see the stats here, and I did provide you, oh no, they're right here. So, these were the packets that we just received at our Hawkeye annual meeting. So you can see these were from last year. So we ended up recovering $745,372 in tuition that was saved, with 465 students enrolled in one or more concurrent classes last year, so that's huge. That partnership with Hawkeye is such a solid one, and it's only gotten to be, I think, just part of a habit of Waterloo students. At this point, with 86 college courses and a lot of different, multiple variety for entry points, you would have to avoid not taking a college class in Waterloo. So we have, again, if you look down, 24, 25, the locations we have. At the high school, I work directly with the liberal arts courses. We have 6 of those. And for this year, we have 171 students enrolled in 6 of those classes at East and West High School. We also have at the WCC, we have concurrent Hawkeye classes. We have both liberal arts, your typical math, reading, world language, science, social studies. And we also have beautiful CTE, as you all know. And 544 students as of October 1st from our system reporting are taking 50 different concurrent classes out at the WCC location. So we're really proud of that too. Something for everyone. And then I put together the demographics. So you can see this is the demographics. I'll make that bigger. One of the things I'm incredibly proud of is the fact that we look at underrepresented populations. Not just one kid should look like Waterloo, and we look like the world. If you look at how I broke this down, and it's in the packet for tonight, you can see I went mostly with 11th and 12th because that's the lion's share of students taking most of these college courses. And you can see across the board, if you look at the first race ethnicity, that's the percent of Asian students in 11th and 12th grade across the district. And if you follow the row across for each of those various college pathways, you can see the percentage of that race and ethnicity within that program. So you can follow along, go all the way through that. At the bottom, there's a gender split on males to females. It has been a growing trend. In liberal arts, we have had a tick up in females, but in CTE classes, we have a tick up in males. And then you can see the total numbers at the bottom. And these are numbers from Tableau just a week and a half ago. Questions on that?
What do you think is the reasoning for the higher number of women versus men?
Well,
Higher
I think over the last 3 years, I've shared before, we have an increase in our Black and Hispanic females taking college classes, so they're starting to see themselves in those rooms, and we've done a lot in the middle schools to encourage talent development with underrepresented students. We ebb and flow sometimes in those different underrepresented groups, but I will say this year we still are lower in Black and Hispanic males. And we're working on pathways all the time. I will tell you again, I'm all about seeing ourselves and our teachers. Chris Timms is one of my favorite concurrent teachers over at East High School. He's also the wrestling coach. So I've really encouraged him. It can't just come from a counselor. Like, you need support, you need mentors, you need the kids talking to each other. So it's a whole system process to really encourage kids to say this is where you should be and you belong here. When we increased talent development groups at the middle school, that did help with the numbers, but we're still not where we should be.
So we note that males are fairly dramatically underrepresented, and it's almost the opposite on the dropouts. They're overrepresented by about that same amount. So is there any concern about that? Is there any action being taken to be more equitable?
I would say probably, and you'll see in the program of studies, I'm going to speak to that in just a minute here. We're really trying to have more pathway courses at the high school in 9th grade. And then if we do go to the one high school, really hitting that 8 and 9 group to encourage them to take some of those different pathway career
classes in high school, so it feels more familiar to have that opportunity to go maybe to that pathway at the Career Center.
I was wondering, for the underrepresented groups, do you have a specific communication plan of possibly being able to make sure that you kind of have a process of trying to increase the numbers for the unrepresented groups?
Sure. In the link that I shared with the board, and I can share it again, from the end of where it goes all the way back to kindergarten, right? So for gifted education and advanced programs, what we've looked at is we've looked at underrepresented groups, and within that we've looked at subgroups, and we've looked at a score that's consistent with that subgroup to increase participation. We've also added, like I said before, talent development groups that are going to be more in line at the middle school to either college or career pathways. So again, we've seen a little bit of tick up. We've added more courses that all kids can take in 9th grade to get sort of a launch into taking maybe a career path, so we've increased that too. So we are doing different things. I know Amy Meehy was hired to really help us think through like CTE pathways and how we can start that. Even at the elementary, we had a meeting today with Amy Schmidt, and we talked about what are we starting to do to look at programming opportunities in elementary school so kids see themselves in those places in elementary and middle, not just when they get to high school and not just when they sit down with a counselor and the counselor says, what do you want to do? Or what do you want to take? We want to be more direct and thoughtful.
I would also say, though, it isn't really not something that reflect a number, but, the fact that we struggle sometimes to keep 9th graders on track limits the amount of opportunity we have here. And improving 9th graders staying on track on credit so that they have elective space will increase the opportunity for this and, for all groups to be able to take more. And I think that's probably maybe one of the bigger challenges because you only have 8 credit spots, 8 class spots in your schedule. And so you lose a spot when you're a freshman, or 2, you're playing catch-up the rest of the way. So really, part of that is, for success here and improvement in demographics, that's do what we do, not at these concurrent and career offerings. We can offer all we want, but if we don't keep the kids on track to be able to take them, and it doesn't do you any good anyway.
Right. And it's not my place tonight to talk about attendance, but Dr. Smith will tell you. I mean, we are at a much better place because they have a targeted plan. Don't forget that you all authorized IXL for unfinished learning. We're starting to see growth at the middle school. Also, you approved new math and ELA curriculum 3 years ago. We made sure it was rigorous and vertically aligned from 6th grade all the way to high school. And this year's 9th grade students' starting point, consistently, ELA and math teachers are saying they're more prepared than they've ever been. So again, it's coming. It takes some time to build these structures, but feeling really proud that even if they aren't in a talent development pathway or taking pre-IB classes, that we're going to build up their baseline to be able to take courses regardless.
I will say, as you look at the financial numbers here on how much you're saving, it's real because as a parent of that can have 2 kids that graduate a semester early is definitely a financial blessing. So.
Yep. Well, see the last stats. You ready for the last slide? Okay.
There's more.
And this we already talked a little bit about, and I did link in the previous doc that I sent out, but I'll share it with all of you tomorrow morning too. It does have that gifted and talented plan, and part of it is underrepresented populations and advanced pathways, so you can see the details of that. But our flagged GT, or gifted and talented, is consistent with the National Association of the Gifted Child says between 6 and 8% of the population. And I believe October 1st count, we had 10,300 students enrolled, so we're right within that percentage. Talent development, we really boosted. We have 3 times as many kids participating in a specific talent area. We have ELP teachers modeling differentiation and rigorous strategies in the classroom. You can see our twice exceptional kids who are neurodiverse. And this is really cool. We are partnering right now with the University of Iowa. They have a Twice Exceptional Academy at the university, and they're partnering with us to build curriculum for middle school neurodiverse kids for the next 3 to 5 years, almost $100,000. They're supporting our programs and working with us, and they have a new academy at the University of Iowa where kids can get scholarships and be in a particular dorm to get supports if they are twice exceptional. So I'm really excited about that too.
What does that partnership look like within our buildings?
So they just started. We just had a meeting with our partners 2 weeks ago, and they received curriculum. It's based on strengths and individual strengths of twice exceptional students. So we have 2 time built into all 4 middle schools, and during that time they look at what their career interests are, and then we get to build curriculum with the University of Iowa that would align to what we have at the WCC and also what we would have at the University of Iowa's offerings. So we're actually taking the college model and backing it up into middle school to build that pathway. Pretty cool. Yeah, look at this. That's cool. So cool. Okay, and then finally, this is awesome too. This is out of the National Clearinghouse from 2023. We have, this is from 2023. We don't get the next year's clearinghouse data, so it's a year behind until December, but I'll share that once it's out. We have 50% of our kids going on to a 4 or 2 year, and that's up from 42% the year before. And you can see how it breaks down and how our kids attend a 4 year and they attend a 2 year. And this one I'm very excited about. Our freshman and sophomore retention for 4 year college is at 92% of the kids return. We only have 8% attrition in a 4 year college, and that's awesome. And we used to be 5.5 years to finish a 4 year. The average is 4 years to finish a 4 year, with most of our kids having 10 credits or more going on to a 4 year college. That's awesome. That's a clap.
Yeah.
That's a clap.
That's
I
awesome.
can clap to that one.
That's how
Really
both
well
of my older kids have been able to do it in 4 years, just because they had that semester cushion.
Well, then they can be more creative and they can try something out and explore. So it's not just about knowing what you're going to go into, but it's about having a cushion to be able to explore when you get to a point where now maybe it clicks, maybe when you're 16 or 17. So again, advanced program highlights are for every kind of kid, not just one kid. Really proud of that and really proud of your support over the years. So thank you, board members.
Yeah, and also allows, student, if they can't handle 15 credit hour semester, that they can reduce back, we take 12.
Absolutely.
And be able to manage their, what they can handle. So, it works a lot of different ways.
Well, I think we're doing it right with 8% attrition.
Well,
It's working.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I just want to mention the point that if numbers right, 70% average of students persist on. And from my understanding, you said that was at 92?
Ours is, the other one's the
Correct.
national.
The national average.
So we're ahead of the national average.
So that's definitely a big accomplishment to the teachers and everyone who is part of that, because I'm going to tell you, that's really, really big to be at 90 plus and 78% is the average. The other thing is, when you mentioned about other program of the curriculum there with the University of Iowa, is that similar to like a program of study to kind of show what those paths are in the area? So an actual program of study, which
Right.
literally I think would be awesome for our kids
Yeah.
to be able to see how everything links up.
Well, John, you want to come and work with me? That's what we're going to do. The program of studies is second on the docket, and one of the things that we looked at is we looked at those career pathways, and we're aligning them up with our careers at the WCC. So kids in middle school have autonomy, and they can see vertically how what they're doing in 6th or 7th or 8th grade in that
Classes to take.
2-week class know what to take when they get on to 9th grade, because we want them, when they go to do the 4-year plan, have some ownership of it, have some understanding of it.
But it's the understanding part and seeing what they can be and putting themselves in that position. So kudos, I love that.
Well, we'll have you in board anytime you want, any of these different programs. If you want to go and walk around with me, or I can send you what, love going into the rooms, that's really where it comes to life. So you let me know.
I think the preparation and exploratory is really important. You know, the last few words of our mission statement says graduate with a diploma and a plan.
Yep.
I believe nationally, students who go to a four-year college, a third do not graduate. So that plan going in becomes really crucial because they end up in debt and no degree.
Agreed. All right, thanks, board.
Thank you.
All right.
And this is just for information only, so thank you, Sharice, Ms. Knight, the students, for all you do. We appreciate you.
Yep. Great job.
So we'll do this first. The next item on our agenda is the 2025-2026 High School Program of Studies. And the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the 2025-2026 High School Program of Studies course catalog. And we have Sharice Ortman, Secondary Curriculum and Advanced Programs Coordinators here, along with Josh Johnson, Director of Secondary Education.
See, I give you.
We need to
all
get the
of it.
motion
Oh,
first.
sorry.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
You're fine, Astor. I gave it to you all in one night. I figure that way we'll get your fill and then you can rest easy tonight. So I have more of the, did you bring we sent out the program of studies earlier. Do you all have it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. If not, I have some extra copies here if you want to look at those. I can set them over here. So the background you can see here with the attachments. Every year we revise the high school program of studies. It's brought to all of you for review and approval, and it reflects the transformative changes in the continuous improvement journey of our high school programming. It's used as a reference tool for scheduling students into appropriate courses and programs, informs students, parents, and community members about courses, curriculum, policy, etc., and provides transitional information for students moving from middle school to high school. Please know that the Board of Education approvals based on the conceptual nature of the high school program of studies will continue to make minor revisions as needed, such as sched coding and district course numbers. But we do really feel like we have a well-rounded, complete update. You can see the Waterloo career changes and other noteworthy revisions below. Waterloo Career Center changes. We are adding veterinary science. We deleted Intro to Health Professions and Med Term. At the high school location, we added IB Film at East High School. You can see Modern Calligraphy, Heritage Spanish, which I have my two Heritage Spanish teachers, one from East and one from West, here tonight if you have further questions for that course. It's going to be awesome. So I have Francis and Julio here if you want to speak with them. We added ELL algebra parts, New Age Industrial Tech, which is a CTE pathway, and Advanced Health Comprehensive, which is a health science. And you can see what we've deleted. Deleted is usually because of low interest over several years. It also can be due to the fact that, for example, Stagecraft, it was created by somebody who is no longer in the district, and it was his vision, and we know that if students want that experience, we have a local theater where kids can go and learn how to do set design. So we're always looking for why we would drop or why we would add. And then you can also see at the bottom, we do have some name changes. By and large, we didn't do a lot of adds and changes this year. We added quite a bit last year, so we're really trying to stay tight and build up what we do have. Questions?
Yes, I have a question on the deleted C, AF, Air Force Zero, TC cadet staff. Is that just the one class or is that the whole program?
It's just that one class. And the reason why is we used to have two officers who oversaw that course, and then they would differentiate, and they would do the advanced cadet staff leadership management. We still have the class. It's just instead of having to have it be a separate class, it's integrated with the regular course, and then that allows for the teacher to differentiate. We only had one student, and we're not going to offer an entire course for one student. Instead, we're going to differentiate in the regular class and provide extensions for that student who needed it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So in medical terminology, that seems kind of basic. Is that incorporated into the other classes as well, or why did you delete that?
Yeah, we did. A couple of reasons, Lyle. That's a great question. So both intro to health professions and medical terminology, we had to do two different things. Two different things were happening at the same time. The state requires us to offer and to teach an advanced health or a health course that spans over a full year. So we have to get a full, we consider it like 1 credit for a full year. We get like a 0.5 credit from the state if it's a semester long. So we were trying to build capacity in an advanced health class, and we also wanted to have something at the high school that was a great pathway opportunity for the health sciences for more kids and open it up. And this way we're able to open it up at the high school. Students will get, in the fall, they'll get their regular health credit per graduation, and then in the spring, they'll get blended medical terminology and health professions, which would then prepare those kids if they do decide to go into the health science pathway. So building it on both ends. We wanted to have more pathway options too. And students can take that course. It's probably more of a 10th grade course, but it would be a nice launch into them taking some of the medical or EMT courses at the Career Center.
What's the change with the EMT courses?
Oh, so the Carnegie unit changed. If you look in your program of studies, what we ended up doing is we ended up blocking that. We wanted it to mimic the nurse program. So we have EMT1 is going to be is going to be 2 blocks now instead of 1 block for the first 8 weeks. And then we'll do EMT2, which will be the second 8 weeks, but over the course of a block. So what this does now, if you can kind of conceptualize this, and that one has smaller numbers, just based on the structure of it per the state of Iowa. So if you only have a student taking EMT1 in the fall, and then you have those same kids taking EMT in the spring, this way we clustered it together, so we compacted it into 2 blocks instead of 1 block fall and spring, so then we can get kids taking it in the fall and we can get kids taking it in the spring. And the fluidity of it is more like the nurse class, the nurse aid class, because students will also do their practicum during that second 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
So is veterinary science part of the health curriculum?
Veterinary science, let me look.
I think it's an
That
ag
one
group.
Is
is,
it in the
I
ag
thought it was an
science?
ag group. They claiming.
All right,
yes.
okay.
Well, we have the person who's teaching it. So that one, if I look at what I put in there, and what I'm looking at is, just so you know, we take all of those Career Center courses, and then they're matched up, so you can see the program and then the service area. So veterinary science should be under, let's see, is that one under, well, here's, ag, yeah. I'm sorry, ag, food, natural resources is a service area.
You know, it's,
Okay.
I think it's a good ad. A few years ago, I guess more than a few years ago now, I learned about a program for USDA called the Ag Discovery Program. And I learned about it because my daughter came home and said, Dad, I want to apply for this. And it was a pretty interesting program. They only take so many candidates across the U.S., and you got to pick what college program. So she wanted to do the equine-based program, so she ended up at Kentucky State University, which is a smaller HBCU college there in Frankfort, Kentucky. And we got learning about the program. The program was developed by the USDA to diversify the ag industry. So, a lot of the the U.S. Department of Agriculture was non-diversified, and a lot of vet schools and different things. So it's kind of interesting. You got to go down to visit a couple of veterinary schools down there and do a couple of different things there. And I think that's what we could add as a district is helping, if you have industry that's looking to diversify that, we can offer some programming that would attract, and I think my understanding right now, at least, I think vet school is one of the hardest ones to get into, but one of the most challenging areas is getting large animal vets in rural counties and, getting the field. So there might be some opportunities that we can offer students here that want to get into those areas. So, but that was definitely a neat program. It was a 2-week program. I'm not sure if we still have it now. I'm not sure what all COVID wrecked, but it was fully funded for the USDA and amazing opportunity when you look at the itinerary they did. So that was something I would highly recommend to other students that are interested in any of the ag fields there. So.
And that was such a new path, right? So when you looked at what we had ag foundations, we have plant science, animal science, so veterinary science is the next obvious when you look at that continuation.
Yeah.
And it does have the domestic companion and farm animals that you talked about, Jesse.
Yeah, and it's interesting because also, I think, if I'm right, my daughter took the medical terminology class, although it was for human anatomy, there's a lot of carryover into, other animals too. So, I mean,
Right.
she had a good foundation of when she went into animal science and stuff like that she already knew some of that terminology because a lot of it is common for mammals and stuff that, she knew some of the reference points. So that was kind of interesting that class separate. I think she took the one that was at West, not one at WCC, but still, it
Well-
offers some stuff.
And what you're talking about is, we wait till you approve it, right? Those are new courses, and you might have some wonders, and you might say, hey, not this year.
Yep.
So once we approve it, I'll work with Amy Meehy, and we'll make sure that we link in who would be the ideal student to take the advanced health. And to your point, if a student was taking vet science, probably having some medical terminology in general is a good course to
A good
take.
bridge,
Mhm.
good, yeah, definitely. It was amazing what she said she knew already when she got in her class, just from taking that one course, just terminology set her ahead a little bit, because she hadn't learned these basic terms. She had required a knowledge for going forward, so. The one I've looked through there, one of them I still think we need to get back into is a true coding computer science class. I know we got some, the cybersecurity stuff, but more of a straight engineering type coding class. You see more colleges that want students come in with some type of, and not just like block diagram coding, actually be able to write a language and be able to use that. And even I think the service academies, if you want to apply, I think Air Force and Navy, they require you to have taken some type of actual coding, and not like cybersecurity, like a, where's a C++ or some type of language class itself where you've written code. So it's something we seem to be lacking there, and I don't know if that necessarily is a WCC class, but where it has to be concurrent, could be a non-concurrent, but I think
Right.
we really need to get something in that back for the engineering pathways and other science pathways beyond what we're offering in the just, Microsoft application stuff, like a true coding.
I second.
Huh?
I second.
I have note of it.
All right. Do we have any more? Go ahead.
For the ones that have been deleted, have y'all kind of came up with a little bit of why enrollment was low?
Yes. ELL consumer math just wasn't really a necessary one any longer, and we didn't have kids enrolling in it. Stagecraft, we had a staff who helped us work on that one. He's since retired, and we found that kids can still get that experience if they go to the Waterloo or Cedar Falls Rec Center and help with set design. AF, JROTC, continued low enrollment because not many of the students really want to do beyond. It's more of an accelerated, and they're already taking a leadership class, so for some kids, it just felt like it might be a little redundant and a little more than what they needed, so that's why we integrated it in and just made it differentiation instead of separate course. And then IB Sports, Exercise, and Health Science. as much as we loved that course, and it was over at East High School, we just weren't getting momentum, and a lot of the kids said it was more of a niche. So for the universities, they do look at chemistry and biology, so we ended up adding IB chemistry. We took a survey of the kids and what they would prefer, and if they're going on to a 4-year, they would rather take IB chemistry. And we also have things for like exercise sciences, non-concurrent that kids can take. That one just was not getting the momentum, so we didn't want to continue to offer it, especially since we added IB Chem.
When I was going over this, so you mentioned about earlier about the University of Iowa, and I mentioned about a plan of study.
Yep.
And that's one thing I wrote on this about the simple fact, I like everything that is here. I would like to possibly in the near future, if there could be like a plan of study, because that plan of study will give our students some direction. And so, of course, we're like saying about how some of the students get behind, and now they're playing catch up. Well, with a plan of study, possibly they'll already know what courses that they actually need if they want to have a certain interest.
Yeah.
So that could probably cut down some of the getting behind on some of the classes. So, yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Pathway?
Yeah.
And we have them, Jonathan, we just haven't put them in the program of studies, but I think it's a great point that it's all in one place. Amy Meehy just finished with her team creating one on like career pathways, and we've created them over the years for advanced pathways. We take them to like advanced program nights or when kids are scheduling, so the counselors have them. But I think to your point, this is a document that's on our website and goes to parents too. Have it right in the book.
It needs to be
Sure.
in print, yeah.
We can do that.
As always, somebody got something?
Yeah, I had.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, you had a question. I want to say, you got mentioned there, and, learn a little more about, tell us more about the Heritage Spanish course that's new in there.
Oh,
That's something we haven't covered, so.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted, Julio and Francis are here tonight, and it's there. We've been talking about it for a long time. We have a lot of our students who first we want to include the biliteracy seal. We want more kids to speak, read, and write in their first language and also in English. And in English and 1 or 2 more languages. So those numbers have doubled on kids getting the seal. I didn't even share that, but you and I now give 6 credits if you have the biliteracy seal, and we doubled our numbers last year. So we have more and more kids who are taking that exam their senior year. And for our students who come here already speaking Spanish, they don't need to go into Spanish 1, but getting that same world language credit and going into a heritage class where they can go deeper into the Spanish language, written and spoken and writing in their first language, because that's part of what we assess on the biliteracy seal. So we've been talking about it for a while. Francis and Julio just are like, we're doing it. So they did. They put together, in fact, a whole presentation that I said I doubt the board will need another presentation tonight, but we can link it for all of you to look at on how they developed that and how we're developing interest in who would take it next year.
That's something we're looking at, expanding
That's
to
awesome.
other languages in the future, maybe, or?
I would love to do probably French next, because we have so many families who come here speaking French.
Yeah.
Good. No, that's a nice add.
Yeah. I probably should have them stand up, do something. I mean, they stayed here. Hi, Julio. Hey, Francis. And helping us be more globally minded, like that's who we are in Waterloo. We really do look like the world, and then we should have courses that represent that.
Thank you. As always,
Thank you.
This is always a lot, so
I know.
you do a great job, Sharice, so we appreciate you. So thank
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you, board. Yep.
So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. Thank you all.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is for information only as well. It's a celebration, and it's the Future Farmers of America. And we have Amy Meehy, I believe, and Hunter Hamilton, the new Ag Science Director. While they're coming up, I'll read some details. A team from Waterloo FFA chapter was named to the 8th place team in the annual Northeast District FFA Soil Evaluation Career Development event held at Hawkeye Community College on September 25th, 2024. So we'll allow Mr. Hamilton, and I believe you have a student there with you?
I sure do. I'd like to introduce here, this is Bryn Culpepper. If you come to my classes any time of the day, as long as it's from 2nd to 4th block, you're probably going to see Bryn because she's in all my classes, and the only reason she's not in block 1 is because you're already taking the class in block 4. So, but Bryn is awesome. That's why I brought her today. Bryn actually placed 10th place out of 166. Wow. So Bryn is a rock star, truly. This is, you might look at the kind of the information I gave you about soil evaluation, the most thrilling contest there is in FFA, talking about soil. But it's truly our foundational life. And I'll kind of just pass it over to Brent, kind of talk about what they did. She's really excited to talk to you guys, just ecstatic. So I'm going to pass it over to her.
So we went to Hawkeye, and it was a great experience. We evaluated 4 pits, and we looked at like the texture, how it does, and how like it would be good for like growing crops. So yeah, we did take a exam. So
That wasn't the fun part.
That was not the fun part. And when she says pits, I mean truly. I mean we'll go. So kind of give you a little rundown of FFA. I won't take you too much time here, but FFA here in the state of Iowa is breaking up into 6 districts. 3 districts up in the north, 3 districts down in the south. We're in the northeast district up here. About 44, 45 schools that it consists of. But we go to Hawkeye every year in the fall. It's one of our only district qualifying to state contests. We have a lot of district contests, but they don't qualify to state. You start districts and you can go to state. So this one's a true qualifying one. We missed qualification just by 3 places, but I will say I've been an ag teacher, FFA advisor for 6 years. I've never had a team this good before on soils. So really, really, really cool. And that just really truly speaks to them because I didn't do anything different. I mean, truly, and they just understood it. So it's awesome. But yeah, 8th place as a team. Usually top 10 get recognized at district competitions and state competitions. And so, yeah, pretty cool. And also, if you haven't seen this beautiful corduroy that Bryn is displaying, Bryn is the first official status wearing a Waterloo FFA jacket. You might know FFA by the blue jacket there. So Bryn's actually going to nationals next week. They guys approved last month. I feel like I'm here every month now, and so I'm just, feel like I know all your names now already. So, but yeah, she's going next week, and they'll be wearing the same jackets and representing Waterloo. So, very cool.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Bryn, what piqued your interest and why did you want to join FFA?
So I do online, and my counselor told me that I should go look at the Waterloo career classes because she thought it would be a great experience. And I thought it would be a good class for me since when I want to do in the future involves environmental science. Specifically going into ag, it was a good program to go in. Like dirt's not the most fun thing, but dirt is the foundation of life. It is great to know about how it works and how we can keep our grounds working. So
No, that's very interesting. I didn't take agronomy in school or soil science, but I have a son that took the classes in college, and he needed some help with notes, so I got his book and started reading the book, and I was amazed at the science behind that. I was just like, as an engineer, you see all the physical science and stuff, but you don't realize all the soil mechanics and stuff. So it's very, very, there's a lot more to it than what is on the surface of what realized, and it's definitely same with agronomy. It's like, wow, it really is a lot of deep science here. So it's very fascinating, and I think it's a good parallel to what you're wanting to do. It's like finding what class I take to better prepare me for and understand that and having some background. So no, fantastic.
So how large were these? You call them pits. Are they really pits, or are they section of land?
I didn't get to see them. I was in the schoolroom, 'cause I was kind of in charge of the contest, but usually they're pretty big. I mean,
5 feet deep, 5 feet wide, 12 feet long.
yeah, they're about 12 feet long, so you actually walk down into them. And so what they're doing there, basically, I attached the scorecard is attached there, but basically they go through a 40-question scorecard, and they look at the soil profile, and they do a bunch of different measurements and calculations, and a lot of it, honestly, is memorization, because if you kind of know what the gist is in our area, for the most part, 90% of this is this, you kind of have the idea going in, and they look at that profile, and they do some reasoning and write some stuff down, and yeah. So you get to actually walk down to the pit. There's about 4 pits they go into.
So one of the questions, I think, involved productivity. So what did you evaluate to determine the productivity?
Let me take care, you got it.
So we looked at how well it can absorb water as well as how well it is absorbing nutrients. We looked at loams while we were studying the scorecard to see how well it would qualify, as well as like the texture. And
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's spot on. That's what I was going to say. She said it better than I could.
Right. Great job.
Yeah, fantastic.
Great job.
And
When will you be graduating, Bren?
I'll be graduating 2025. I am a senior.
Okay. Do you know where you're going to go in the fall?
I
Next year?
go to UNI or Iowa State.
you know what?
It's not bad. They're really trying to push her. I'm not trying to push these kids to Iowa State, but it's my alma mater.
Yeah.
It is the best ag school.
Well, you know, that's, you know, it's,
Just saying.
is environmental connective ag at Iowa State, I don't know, is it?
Yeah, so Brent and I actually have a conversation a lot of times. You and I had grade school too for environmental science biology. I know we're one of our little sister school over here at UNI. But UNI, oh, this one went up. I touched that. That's my bad. But Iowa State, the environmental science program falls into the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences, so it is very tied in. And that's one of the reasons why environmental science is great at Iowa State, is because they have some of that ag money coming in to help fund that department.
So it's like CAFE, CAFA, food in there too then?
I'm not entirely sure, yeah.
Not entirely?
Yep.
Yeah. That's where my daughter's at, is ag, food, and environmental are all, so they see it. Now, it's interesting because, you know, I seen, you talk about environmental stuff there, and I grew up in an area where a lot of the soil is still contaminated from mining, and, you know, stuff grows there, but there's a lot of bad stuff in the ground, and for years they didn't reclaim the ground, and now, you know, you're trying to recover from that. So, I mean, there's a lot of work still to be done in those areas and, you know, prevent misuse of, you know, our earth in the future. So, good luck with your endeavors, and looking forward to see what you do in the program here. So.
Yes, agreed. And this is your first year?
Yeah, this is my first year here.
Yep, so great job, great job.
Yep.
Good team. Congratulations, Bran.
Good luck.
Good luck next week. Have fun, as
Yes.
much fun as you can. Thank you.
Love the jacket.
That's cool.
The next item on our agenda is also a board celebration, and it's East High's Amazing Waterloo Women Book Launch Party. And we have Mrs. Zondo, East High history teacher. East High School will host a book launch party for Amazing Waterloo Women, written and illustrated by its women's studies and visual arts students. And it was last Thursday, October 10th, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Waterloo Career Center. And I see we have some students here, so we can get some more information. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Zondo. I am the Women's Studies and a history teacher at East. And I won't take a lot of your time. We didn't bring the whole party because it was a big party. So we had really good turnout last Thursday night at the Career Center. We had cupcakes that were made by the culinary students. I won't go into all those details. We're going to say thanks in a minute. But the class, basically, the Women's Studies class was approved 2 years ago by the board. This is my third year teaching it. And in the spring of 2023, I took an arts integration course that was led by Travis Grotto-Zeno, and also someone up at the AA. I can't recall her name right away. But anywho, through taking the class, I explained to them how many strong women we have in Waterloo. I just said, I have so many guest speakers who come into my history courses and share their stories. And so it was Travis's idea. He said, well, why don't you have your students write a book about these women? And I was like, that's an amazing idea. And so that's just what we did. So we went through, and Chris is going to describe the process that we used a little bit. Henry is going to give some thanks to people who are involved. We're also going to take this next week, a week from today, we'll be in Des Moines sharing it at a conference of Iowa Council for Social Studies Teachers Conference. So it's a really cool project. It's brought together lots of people in different ways in our community. So I'll hand it over to Chris so she can kind of explain the process.
Sorry, so it started off as a semester project, and we were all doing research about the different women that we wanted to write about for the project. And then at some point, we had a Zoom meetings with Mike and Katie where they decided that it would be a good idea to turn the project into a book. We all started doing more research. We started doing drafts and peer reviews and revising, and it slowly turned into a official book project. And so we had a lot of East High artists volunteer to draw portraits for the women. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We had a lot of students. I think I did have a note card with all of the students on there. I think there was maybe 20 of them, around 20 artists that volunteered to draw portraits. So our inspiration was Kathy Swalwell, and she wrote the Amazing Iowa Women book. We actually spoke to her in the Zoom meeting as well. And I wrote, Waterloo Women, from mothers to teachers to doctors, deserve to be acknowledged and appreciated. We wanted this book to serve as a reminder for all of the amazing women of Waterloo that your accomplishments are seen and that they're heard. Oftentimes, when we think about accomplishments of women, they're typically in larger cities. And I think it's very important to acknowledge them in smaller Midwestern towns like Waterloo. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for that.
And Henry, you're going to show them the copies of the...
This was our, this was our design, or like what we built our book off of. Our book is this, which you want me to like, give it to them?
You have a copy.
Yeah. Which we use this to build, which is Katie Swallow's book, Amazing Iowa Women, which we built our book completely based off of that, and then we built it into what we have. And I'd like to thank first Travis Kurtadu-Zanel, who had the idea for the book that Mrs. Andrews said earlier, Katie Swallow, who made Amazing Iowa Women, Mike Draper, which he's the owner of Raygun, he's our distributor of the book online. Currently, I think we're sold out of copies, but we are going to be getting more copies back so they can start selling them again. And I'd also like to say we had an amazing book lunch party. All the copies we had that were for sale sold out in 30 minutes.
Wow,
nice. And then we had one of our art teachers, Donovan Overhoy, sorry, my apologies, who guided artists, and like he was like one of the overviewers of the artists, made sure they were on thing. He didn't really tell them what to do, he let them use their imagination, as you can see through the artwork, and he did a lot of help, which he even made the poster, which we did not ask him to do, he just did. And I'd like to thank Lillian King, who was a student who designed the page layout, so if you look at the book, they were the person that set it up. I'd like to thank Hannah Luce and Skylar Champeleth, who we applied for a grant in the Waterloo Foundation, and they worked that, and we got that grant to make the book. I would like to thank Joe Robert, who was a part of Matt Patriot and Sons, who printed the book that we used, and it helped us like stay within our budget. And I'd like to thank the culinary students because they made amazing, delicious cupcakes. Yeah, I'd like to also thank Byron Phillips, Tim Moses, and Shannon Jensen, who are East High admins, principal, and supporters, who just like helped align it and like get our views into place. And I'm one of the grant writers for the book, and there's 22 students, I believe, who wrote a page in the book, which I wrote 3 of them. Did you write one? Yeah, she wrote one, and then I think there was 27 artists in total. I'd like to thank all them. And Mrs. Zondo was such an amazing help. She guided the entire project. Yeah. I'd also like to add one more thing that she added earlier. I am a full IB student, And I would just say I could not, like, this is, like, I would never be imagining doing this type of thing without being in, like, the IB program itself.
I also wanted to mention, since I wrote my page on Anime Weems, the first page in the book, I just wanted to say how I find it somewhat unfortunate how I wasn't able to know about her until we started doing this assignment, and how I think it would be really helpful if she was taught more in schools, and how we sort of do something. I'm not quite sure exactly what, but for her memory, since she actually died recently. I think just her accomplishments in general, I wrote it on the pages. She brought Martin Luther King Jr. to Waterloo. She built foundations for children. She did a lot of things for our community, and I really think that she should be definitely more acknowledged for her accomplishments and how she helped the community, especially the Black community.
Noted. Great job. Great job. We want to give you your kudos first before we have a few brief comments, and I have a personal story. So while you guys are all here, we won't take up a whole lot of time. But back when I was in high school, Miss Anna Mae Weems brought a gentleman here to Waterloo, a recruiter for HBCU college in West Point, Mississippi, and that's how I received my first college degree, through Anna Mae Weems and a gentleman that she brought to recruit students in this area. And I believe 7 of my friends went down to the school with me, so that was a jump start to my educational journey. So it just ties all in that transition. So, yeah, she's an amazing, amazing woman. Amazing woman.
She was in this boardroom a lot.
Yeah. I guess.
And probably put some fire behind it, too.
I definitely want to just say this is probably, being on the board that I've been, these are the things that I think we as a board should be really happy with. Literally, it wasn't an idea. And then all of a sudden, it was an idea. Next thing you know, it was grant writing. Those processes, that's what academic excellence is about. So kudos to everyone that supported you along the way, teachers and everything. Once again, I'm hearing this IB and AP courses and everything, so that's nothing but great preparation. So I just want to just really, really throw a real kudos out there to this whole process, because that's what's going to make you become who you want to be. So as a board, I think we need to be really happy with that. And once again, kudos to this AP, IB courses. I love them.
Yeah, we definitely don't take for granted the opportunities that students are able, and when they take advantage of it, and to see things like this come to fruition is amazing. We do give of our time to sit on the board, but believe me, I think everybody can agree that you're the reason, you two along with countless other students are the reasons we smile when we're up here. Being able to celebrate you and your accomplishments and looking at things like this is what we do this for. So we thank you. I personally thank you, and as a board, we thank you as well. Keep striving, keep doing it. You're making us all look great, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing. These two are both in AP and IB, but that class, that's an elective course that's open to everybody, and it's a very diverse group of kids who take that class. Like, there were kids with IEPs, there were, kids from all different walks of life, so it definitely wasn't only, these two are representing us tonight, but they're not the only two who obviously were a part of it, but.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And Chris.
Yep, you should be proud.
The fact that
And the books are not yet sold out at Raygun, so you can still get a copy at Raygun, but the copies we had sold out.
and every school library will now have it. So we can make a push that it gets read, and so people hear more. even just an introduction into Miss Anna Mae, so.
Yes. Can I see that real quick? Also, the book was dedicated to Elizabeth D. McDonald. I remember when we were doing the process, we were trying to come up with an idea about who to dedicate the book to, and I recently heard about her, and she was a huge part of my high school experience, my sister's high school experience. She was very, very loved in the community, and she did pass away, so I thought that dedicating the book to her would be a good idea. So I told Ms. Londo about this, and I believe, did you write this part? Yeah. Yeah, it was a recommendation of mine to dedicate the book to her and her sons.
You're going to make me tear up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. We appreciate you. And that was for information only, and we appreciate those students for putting in all that time and hard work, seeing that come to fruition. So now on to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda this evening consists of 6 items. Approval of minutes from the September 23rd, 2024 regular board meeting. Item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. Item 3, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. Item 4, WCC travel to St. Charles, Illinois. Item 5, East High music trip to Nashville and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And item 6, classroom space availability for open enrollment purposes. Can we get a motion? Are there any items that board members want to see removed?
Yeah, item 4.
Item 5.
Okay, item 4, WCC travel to St. Charles, Illinois. And item 5, East High music trip to Nashville and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Can I get a motion to put items 1, 2, 3, and 6 on the table?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Item 4.
Yep.
Both of them, yes. So we'll,
Let's do 5 first.
okay. 5 first. All right, we'll do 5 first.
I'm sorry, my child's choir concert is in 35 minutes, so.
Okay.
Before you start, congratulations on your band's performance and Division I rating this Saturday. And I don't know how y'all did at Muscatine, but I'm sure it was a great performance.
It was hard. It was a long day. 'Cause you went on at
9:40 p.m.
Yeah, we played in Dubuque at 12:45 and then stalled until 9:40, but we enjoyed Eagle Point Park in Dubuque. It was beautiful, and they enjoyed playing tag around the playground. It was like 25 kids playing tag around the playground, so it was great. So, yep, highest score I've ever gotten in my career at Dubuque, so.
Nice, congratulations. So let's get this motion on the table quick so we can get you out of here. The superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve travel for East High Choir, Band, and Orchestra students from June 8th through the 12th, 2026, to participate in the Tennessee Waltz Tour in Nashville and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Second.
So, question?
Yeah, I just wondered, have they communicated any potential changes or backup plans with the damage done in that part of the
This is
Appalachian
not
Mountains?
supposed to be until June of 2026, so, which is about 2 years, so I haven't heard anything as far as that goes, but hopefully by that
Probably some of
time.
the interstates won't be done until 2028.
Gee.
Well, we'll have a backup route just in case.
Yeah, so I don't know how much, I know there's a lot of damage in that area. I didn't know if they put any, if we're expecting any changes to some of the itinerary here for that. Obviously,
We'll
the
leave that
Nashville
to
portion of
the
it. but
Hawkeye stages to figure out.
Well, even facilities there, I mean, Pigeon Forge has got a creek that flooded, that goes right down through the middle of the city there, so.
Take it one step at a time, and if we need to evaluate later on, then we can. So. You
Any
can
more
see-
questions, comments?
Thank you for your extra time in planning and taking students on a trip, because kids need to get out of their hometowns and see what the rest of the world is like.
Yeah, I had a child that has not even been to Cedar Rapids before on my, she's never been to Dubuque, never been anything, so. They
Congra-
need these things for all the extra work that they do for our programs.
I'm glad you're going to the Grand Ole Opry. If you have a chance to get a guided tour, the history is just, will blow you away. It's amazing.
I've never been either, so it'll be enlightening for us too.
Yeah, but they had the Hall of Fame down there too, next to it there.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that's part of, on the itinerary as well, I think, is the Country
Yeah.
Music Hall of Fame.
it's been 20-something years since I've been down there, but I used to work like an hour from there, so it was pretty, so.
So any more questions, comments? So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you guys for all you do. Thank you.
Yeah. The marathon is over. Get introduced to your husband again.
Hey, Kyle. So item
I know
four.
what's up. Shutting down the place.
Item four, let me get the motion on there first. So item four, WCC travel to St. Charles, Illinois. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve travel for the WCC cyber students from November 8th through the 9th, 2024, to participate in the Cyber Force competition. I just clicked off of it. In St. Charles, Illinois.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, question?
I just wanted to call attention to, basically, it's a high school team competing against colleges.
Yeah, it'll be a combination team, so there'll be Hawkeye students and high school students together competing. And so we did it this way. The first year we went, so this will be our third year, the first year we went, it was just straight up high school, and then they changed the rule and said that students have to be 18. So there's only a couple of students then in high school who are 18 who are able to do it. So we went with Hawkeye last year, and we're doing the same thing again this year. So it'll be a combination of Hawkeye students and WCC
So
students.
it's still, the 18 is still a limitation then?
Yes, yep.
That's too bad, because you did so well. You've been doing so well in the past.
Well, I claim that could be why she changed it.
And then just, the summer, you have what, 2 summer jobs and 5 internships, is that right?
Yeah, the May of '23 grads, or this last summer, had just some amazing opportunities, and 2 of them were working here in Waterloo and had virtual internships, one at EMC Insurance, one is at the John Deere Technology Center in, I believe it's Ames or Des Moines, I think it's in Ames. But just some of those opportunities that they had as freshmen going into sophomores, a lot of them were like, well, usually we don't hire, and, interns are, usually our interns are juniors and seniors, but they're getting those opportunities. So the majority of those opportunities come from the competitions that we do. And so in the IT world, a lot of the IT employers view the competitions as experience. And so people my age think of experience as work, and so that's not anymore the case when IT employers are looking to hire cybersecurity professionals or programmers or anything. They're looking at experiences. What types of experiences have you done, and how wide are they? Do you have experiences in different areas or just one area? And so that's where one of the students came back, and he's like, they didn't ask me one question about what I know. And I'm like, well, what'd you talk about for an hour? And they talked about his competitions that he had done and all that, and he ended up getting the internship. And so, and that one was the EMC Insurance one, which is a pretty prestigious internship.
in the state, 4 in the college world, and so, yeah, so.
So how many students did you have, students did you have last year that graduated?
27 graduated, and 26 of them went on to an IT, either into post-secondary or an IT position. The majority of which, except for maybe 1 or 2, was in post-secondary. So at Hawkeye and Iowa State, and then UNI.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And so, we did have, you always asked about the girls. We had an all-girls team last year for both the Cyber Patriot and Iowa State, and they got second at Iowa State and beat the boys. The boys got 4th.
Wow.
So there is more girls. Still not a lot,
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
So how many students do you have this year?
right now, this semester is the 1 class, and then next semester will be 2 classes. So there's 17 in the class this semester, but there's about 25 students that are coming to the Cyber Club on Tuesday nights.
Well, only thing I would say, just keep on exposing our kids. Keep on exposing our kids. Because it sounds like they're parading. You know, they have a really good foundation of what they're getting into. So I just love the fact that this is kind of a stepping stone for them of even their own confidence.
Yeah, and that was really evident on Saturday. I took 8 students to the first Cyber Summit in Ames, and so the governor's CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, was there, and so the students got to interact, and our students were asking questions and really interacting with the CISO, and so that was exciting to see, because a lot of times students sometimes are a little bit hesitant, but building I call them professional skills, some people call them soft skills, but building those professional skills, I think, are hugely important, being able to communicate, the different things to your clients.
Well, thank you for helping accomplish the mission. I'm going to refer to it one more time. Graduate with a diploma and a plan. These kids all have a plan,
Yeah.
and that's the goal.
Yeah, this summer I had an opportunity to spend a couple of days with an 8th grade program that was at the WCC, and I don't know the exact name of it, but it was Joy Briscoe did it for middle schoolers, and an outside employer came in and asked the middle schoolers if they knew what they wanted to do, and every one of the 18 to 20 middle schoolers there were able to say what they wanted to do and what they wanted to be, and that employer walked out and they're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was the craziest thing I ever saw, because they were 8th graders.
I'm sure it was shift.
Yes.
For the shift?
Yep. Yeah, because they did the middle school, whatever they did with the
Yes.
middle school. Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
Well, congratulations and good luck.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. Thanks, Kyle. Yep. Good luck, have fun. Yeah, and thanks for your patience.
Hey, guys, I can't do, I gotta go. I can't say anymore.
Thanks for coming, Steve.
Yeah.
I was looking at your face about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
She's not gonna make it.
I might not either.
You need help carrying yourself.
Lau might have to, Lau might have to step back over.
All right.
All right, let me go. So the next item on our agenda is board policy changes, second reading. Oh,
You missed one.
see, I'm trying to go get ahead of myself. Item 12, cooperative sponsorship agreement. Item 12, and I just asked this question too. I was right on it. So the details, and this is for information, just for information only. Application forms for, this is our cooperative agreement, and it is between Dunkerton is the requesting school, and Waterloo West High will be the host school for girls tennis. And schools can submit application forms from both the Iowa High School Athletic Association for the boys and Iowa High School Girls Athletic Union to be in a cooperative with receiving districts for programs that they don't have enough participation in. Hopefully I said that in the best terms. So this is a cooperative with Dunkerton High School girls tennis and Waterloo West High School for girls tennis. They previously shared with East High, but East now shares with West for girls tennis. So the only question I had for this, and Pam is going to get the information, is this considered one of our combined sports?
Yes.
Instead of it listed as West, well, here it's listed as West.
Well, I think
Instead of it
everything
being our
that-
combined.
I think all our combined sports, except for swimming, are now listed as West.
Cross-country?
So this is,
Cross-country is no
so,
longer combined.
It's no longer
Combined, so that's why they're separate, but I'm pretty sure both tennises and girls soccer last year was listed as West.
I'll get confirmation on that.
Yeah.
and the reasoning,
I think the reasoning was when they split conferences, that they were gonna try to field teams in both conferences, and then whenever they didn't, because there was two conferences, they decided they were not going to, do a combined team name there, that's where it kind of stems back to, because that's when they split cross-country from being combined back to East and West, when they went to the different conferences to try to support development of competition in the Iowa Alliance.
right.
That's why, and then, so back, they made a decision then that if they do combine them, but they weren't going to try to do a combined team at that, like, a single team name. So I'm pretty sure it's tennis, girls soccer, girls wrestling this year.
So girls wrestling is,
Combined this year.
and it's West girls wrestling.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I think it might be, there's another one, girls soccer, girls soccer got combined late last year, that was a late combined, and I forget the other
So
one.
we probably need to get a list of the combined,
We would have to share, we would have approved that earlier this year, it'd be in the notes, if we had approved all the sharing.
The sharing agreements typically come in the spring. This was a new one, but I will get
but
clarification.
the
I'll
sharing,
get a
yeah,
list.
the sharing agreements will be from outside districts.
Right,
It
Well,
wouldn't be from-
we
it
have,
wouldn't be from-
we have to approve the inside too. It was, the inside ones were approved as well at the same time.
I don't remember approving the wrestling.
We're not approving this one.
Yeah.
But this is just a clarification because it probably listed East before, and the fact that East was sharing with West and West is host school for tennis, they needed to clarify that.
So the wrestling that you're referencing is just the East and West combining?
Yes.
The ones that we're talking about are with other school districts
Right.
combining with us. Those take board action. Right?
Well,
The
no, this is,
outside-
no, this is information
None
only.
of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
nothing- yeah,
For
no-
information only though,
it's-
but I
yeah,
remember we saw
information,
that,
yeah.
we saw that list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm sorry. For information only.
Yeah.
But just the knowing of which one of our sports or activities are combining, because it affects coaches as well, I'm sure,
Yeah.
if you're combining two programs. So just a list of what programs are combining.
Right.
And what's the
Yeah.
criteria for assigning them, one place or the other?
Right.
Obviously, the conference issue would be a major consideration.
Yes.
Okay.
I can get that from Lily.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. Item 13, board policy changes, second reading. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the following policies: educational philosophy of the school district, open meetings, closed meetings, exempt meetings, Board of Directors records, role of school district administration, management, superintendent qualifications, recruitment and employment, superintendent contract and contract renewal, superintendent salary and other compensation, superintendent duties, superintendent evaluation, superintendent professional development, superintendent civic activities, superintendent consulting outside employment, administrative positions, administrative qualifications, recruitment and appointment, administrator salary and other compensation, administrator civic activities, administrator consulting outside employment, administrator code of ethics, use of motor vehicles, care, maintenance, and disposal of school district records, educational specifications for buildings and sites, maintenance schedule, vandalism, and energy conservation, and approve the deletion of board meeting minutes, organizational chart for personnel, required academic schedule for high school students, required academic schedule for high school students regulation, site specifications and district protocol for disposal of real property. Wow, you got out this seat quick.
Could you repeat that again?
Had to read that.
Can you read it again for me?
So, right. I don't think I can. So can we get a motion?
I thought this was information.
No, this is second reading.
This is
Second reading.
So moved. Second.
There's a lot here. There really is.
Yes.
The one, I'm just going to limit my questions to one here. On page 93, now this was written by, who was this written by?
Ehlers and Cooney, attorneys in Des Moines, and they, sorry. So Ehlers and Cooney out of Des Moines.
Yeah.
Works with IASB to draft the policies.
Okay. That first sentence on page 93, to me it's probably a distinction without a difference. But to me, that's different than what we've always been told by IASB.
Yeah, Crystal and I brought this up last time. Crystal and I brought this up last time, and she and I really felt that our one employee is the superintendent, and the superintendent employs the others. I can't remember who had discussion the other way, maybe it was Pam, but I really felt that it was just our one employee is the superintendent.
So, and yeah, I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I just kind of listened in on, there's a couple that we pulled off of actually this last policy review meeting for kind of that very purpose, Lyle, because it read differently than what we have always been told and taught. And so I think that this could be, I think you can read this either because you approve, so therefore you employ. And maybe it needs, maybe the verbiage just needs
And
to
I'm
be
not-
changed.
I'm not quarreling with it, I'm not suggesting it be
Yep.
changed, I'm just, the last session we had with our
It's
friend.
confusing.
With our friend Margaret, if you remember that,
Yeah, yep,
was exactly the opposite.
yep.
Matter of fact, she said, which is also contrary to this, that the board cannot vote no on a personnel appointment. So we had a big discussion with Margaret on that. But this says the opposite. So,
Do you? Yeah.
no, I don't,
Yep.
I'm not calling
Yep.
for anything, I just
Yep.
thought it was interesting that there seems to be a little difference of,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with how it's stated, and I think that, which is why, like I said, we pulled those ones from the November policy review, because I'm actually gonna get some additional legal guidance on how to word that. Based on what we hear back from that, we could even look at this one and
I'm not,
reword it too, but, okay.
again, it's probably
Nope, I
a
hear you.
distinction without a difference, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
Yep,
But,
I hear you.
because I thought Margaret was wrong all the way, all along.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
You remember that session?
Yeah, it was right in here. So are there any more questions on the second reading for these board policy changes? So Pam is gonna check on that one, but, So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. All right, so brings us to our next item, board, item 14, board policy changes, first reading. Right? Okay. The following policies have been reviewed by the district leadership team and the policy review committee and are being presented for the first reading. Oh, no, I won't. Oh, I won't read those.
Next time.
And it's quite lengthy as well. So these are being presented for the first reading. So this is for information only, to be acted on at the next board meeting.
So this list here, just FYI, information, needless information, but this gets us through the mandatory policies for our 100s through 400s, and then our 700s through 900s. We have to come back and do the 5s and 600s of the mandatory listing. So kind of we're almost through the first full blush of the first third of the policies that have to be revised or looked at, just looked into.
Thanks for that encouragement.
Yes, you're welcome.
Anybody have any questions on those? Okay. That ends our items. Yep. And now we're on to our superintendent's report.
So Pam, that means if we keep dragging it out, you'll never retire. Okay, so let's just keep, let's just keep pushing it, kicking it down the road. Okay, 3 things here real quick. Town halls have been, we just finished up our 4th last week. We had, we were out over at Hoover, had a really good turnout, thanks to the board members who attended. Thanks to the community members who attended, we had about 40 plus in the audience, had really good questions. And we stayed and answered almost every one that we got. So that was a really good night. We've got 3 more coming up. We've got this week, this Thursday night at Antioch Baptist Church at 6:30. We're inviting all community members to come who are interested in finding out more about the high school project. And then we've got 2 more after that. One is on the 21st at Prince of Peace in Evansdale, and then the last one is at Hope City Church. It's 2 weeks from tonight, and it's right after this board meeting gets out. We will be heading over there. So one thing we've been telling all of our staff about is there's actually, we know the big vote is on November 5th, and it's not just the high school vote, it's also all the other elections, including the presidential election. But what we've been telling our staff is that there's actually a satellite voting opportunity on October 23rd. At the Sportsplex. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It was already, we kind of inquired and it was already set up, something that they already set up for us, or actually for the community. And so given that you don't actually, anyone who lives in Blackhawk County can go and vote on the 23rd at the Sportsplex. So we're really encouraging our staff, if there is time during the day, and I know that's kind of tricky, but to letting them, telling our administrators make sure they have a chance to go and vote if they can. Some of our schools are closer to the Sportsplex than others, and so it might not make sense if you're out in Evansdale or Orange or some of the other buildings, but if you're more centrally located, we're encouraging our staff to go and take care of that on the 23rd.
What were the hours again?
9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's not ideal, but we do make sure, and this is commonplace in all districts, is when staff have a break during the day or lunch or planning period, that as long as the principal or the direct supervisor says they're good to go, we always let them try to go and take care of it. So we've been, and we'll have translators there as well. We called the auditor's office and said, hey, can we have translators there if needed, and we were approved on that too. So last but not least, I sent the board some enrollment numbers earlier today. Hopefully you saw those. I'm real excited. Both our enrollment and our budget enrollment, and those mean a couple different things to us, but our actual enrollment, students in buildings is, and I'm a little bit leery to give an actual number, but I will say we're up compared to last year, and you guys saw those numbers in your text thread there, which is, there's been talk about us losing students through a couple different, whether it's the vouchers or whether it's some of our, some layoffs in that community. So for us to actually be up, it's pretty positive for the district. We're excited about that. And then remember our budget enrollment, which is a little bit different. That's actually, where that comes into play is our SAVE funding, which has been a hot topic, right? That number is the number the state uses to give us our money for SAVE. So that number looks like it's up, 70 plus students at this point. Again, it's not official at this point, but it is timely for us to share that our enrollment on both fronts is looking really positive. So we're super excited about that because that's all tied to funding. And quite honestly, besides funding, we just want these kids in our buildings because we think give them the best opportunity possible. So those are the 3 updates I have for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Tonight, we'll start down to my left with Director Knight.
So it was long evening, but the program study stuff and the updates on the advanced programming, it's just always great to hear some of that. And then the students come in and we'll talk about a couple of programs, stuff going on there with the book and also the ag science program. So just a lot of great things going on there. Just the big thing is kind of, looking at is, with, our diverse offerings comes, challenges of keeping class size so we can offer these classes, because if there's more to pick from, there's, you may run out of students because there are a limited number of spots. And, I think another key piece that as we talk about is, keeping our 9th grade cohort on schedule. And that will allow us to be able to offer, I think, more because you'll have more kids able to take those electives. So as we talk about going forward with our high school project potentially, and this is, the work on that freshman class, and getting them prepared for the next step is just key for us. So that's just my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Director Knight. Director Cox.
Well, first I'd like to, for all the students that are participating in some extracurricular here in the fall, I think we need to tip our hats off to them because they've been going to practices every day. Some of them had to go study tables. But the most part, what I want to get at is they're being persistent. We got coaches out here dedicated to our district. And we need to just say, we appreciate these kids being out here, I'm over at Carver coaching the football. And, we would love to have more numbers, but we don't. However, on the flip side of that, those ones, they come every day. And you know what? Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're low, but at the end of the day, what we try and get through to the kids is persistence pays off. So I just wanted to kind of mention that, and I also want to just tie it into, I thought today was just a great day. I'm going to tell you this. It was a great day because, the story behind IB courses is this. When I recruited students, that was a criteria. That was a criteria. So I've had great success with students at the collegiate level. Why? Because of AP and IB courses. And from what I'm seeing, what is being done in this district with the IB and AP courses, that's something to be proud of with our teachers. I reiterate, with our teachers and our students that are really showing excellence. We do not say the word excellence much, but I'm going to say it. they're displaying excellence. And that's something that I think that I'm extremely proud. And I know everyone else is proud. It just touches me because I'm looking at the students that were presenting. I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them. I've taken IB courses, critical thinking, they're going to figure it out. Everything that we as a school district want our kids to do. The other thing that I would just want to mention, and Jerry and I, we talked about this. You know, this is just my impression, but we need to bulk up our communication plan. Okay? What do I mean by that? And my phone is ringing. What I mean by that is the simple fact that trying to prevent that 9th grade lag, getting behind, that kind of thing, at the lower levels, starting, at the lower levels, starting there in grade school and also middle school, that communication plan is so critical, I think, especially in that middle school. In the grade school area, one thing that we really need to touch on, because there's different studies, we all learn different. We all learn different. And somehow, we need to make sure that's kind of integrated into our district. I think that's just critical. I mean, they say there's 7 different ways of how individuals learn. But I really think that we need to take some deep dive and look in the mirror, because we're doing some good things. It's time to be great. It's time to be great. We're moving on with a lot of initiatives. I'm going to tell you this, it's time to be great. So I just want to push that out there because I like to do my own little, I ask questions. And it's interesting how I mentioned about the IB courses and some of the things are matching what I'm having. But I really do think that, having a sense of, kids having a sense of knowing their strengths, not career, their own strengths, can translate into knowing about career, and it also will translate into academic excellence, so our kids aren't falling behind. So that's something I just want to throw out there. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. I thought it was great. There's IB courses. Sorry, I'm very redundant, but I lived in that world. I lived in that world, and I'm going to tell you, that world was, man, it was just great working with those students that had those IB courses. So I just want to say that, and like I said, kudos out here to these teachers, the dedicated coaches. We got some really good things about our district. We just, for some odd reason, we have a tendency to think negative. There's some great things about this district, and we need to pull it out, and I think I always said, we got to let them know. Let's let them know. This IB stuff is excellence. So, I'm done.
Thank you, Director Cox. Director Ewing.
Just a congratulations to both of the high school bands for earning a Division I rating at their state contest on Saturday, and both had long days. West High went on to Valley West Des Moines and competed, and East went on to Muscatine and went on at 9:40 p.m. So when you talk about the dedication of those teachers, all the time, the marching band marathon that it is, away from their families and their husbands and wives and children for 2 months. So now they can get to know their families again after this. And congratulations to them again, and to the students who worked really hard. And the volunteers, one of which is sitting at this table.
Saturday was indeed long.
Yes.
I think I got home at about 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank you, Director Ewing. Director Schmidt.
Yeah, just a couple things today. First of all, congratulations on finding the students. It seems like we always end up starting with 500 or 600 short, and then we find them, and I always think, oh, we'll never get there. And somehow we find the students. But I know it takes a lot of individual effort, probably doing some door knocking, probably all of that. So, but everyone counts, and particularly when the trend line is not down, flat to up a little, I think that's really important. So congratulations to that great effort. Agri-sciences, I just love seeing the FFA jacket with Waterloo on the back. That's the first one in history of Waterloo schools, I'm guessing. And that was truly amazing, and they're already off to a great running start, so that's good. As well as the cybersecurity. Those stories are just amazing, you know. And Jonathan, you talk about those, you know, those kids got it. We don't worry about those kids. And lastly, don't really have a soapbox item tonight on the bond issue, but I would kind of draw your attention to page 53. You don't need to look at it, I'll read it. But it says the board endeavors, this is our educational philosophy of the school district. Official educational philosophy. The board endeavors through the dedication of school district's resources, and I'm thinking 1% issuance of bond in this case, that's a resource, to encourage students who come to the school district from a variety of backgrounds to look forward for the time when they have jobs, homes, families, places in the school district community, and attain recognition as individuals. That's our philosophy. That's what we're promoting. That's the basis of the whole project. So I haven't mentioned vision, but that's hope and vision. That's the vision, and Jonathan, you talked about the vision. Hope and vision. That's what it's about. So hopefully we can proceed as planned.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. I was looking for more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. I got a couple of things. One, thank you to the entire board for filling in, and my co-pilot. Briefly, I sent a message. I called Pam first, and I sent a message out. I landed at 2:58, I think, in Des Moines.
Ooh.
And I rolled down there, and I had, I think, 46 miles left in the tank. My plane left out at 6 a.m., so we were on the road at 3 a.m. to get to my destination. So I didn't get gas. Landed at 2:58, had to get gas and then get on the road to get here. So I appreciate all of you bearing with me. Got here as soon as I could. I know Lyle was like, you better hurry up. That's why I didn't call you. Because I thought I was going to make it, but
I'm sure you didn't speed.
on the way down I did and got caught. On the way down I did. And I wasn't in a hurry. I left in plenty of time, and I think just anxious to get there. And a real ouch. So I think it was just me being anxious, but I left in plenty of time. Didn't need to be, but it happened. So glad to see Stacy back in the fold with us. I know we're all appreciative and thankful that she was back. She did have to step away for a little bit, but glad to see her up and moving around and amongst us again. So that's definitely a blessing. I do want to say this, though. I had an opportunity this weekend to travel to Washington, D.C. for a joyous occasion. And I just pulled this picture up when we were talking about the excellence, and then when Lau read about the board endeavors through the dedication, and we talked about encouraging students who come to school district from a variety of backgrounds, and to look forward to the time they have when they will have jobs, homes, families, places in the school district and community. So I had an opportunity to go attend a wedding of my cousin, who's a Waterloo Schools grad. And I have a picture here. I'll let Pam see it real quick. And the amount of Waterloo schools, we took a Waterloo picture. These people in this picture have reached the highest of the heights. And I don't brag much. Anybody knows me. I'm fairly humble, just from some of my experiences, my life experiences. And the gentleman in that picture had some of the same similar experiences as I did growing up, and I've started to express myself a little bit more about my upbringing or whatever. But to see those gentlemen and be around those gentlemen and what they're doing, and I can honestly say it's a credit to the Waterloo community, the Waterloo Community School District. I'm just amazed at what can be accomplished. And I don't think this is a one-off. It's not just this group of individuals that I'm referring to. We see it all over our district. We're going to see it with the individuals that came and spoke to us today as well, the ones that we're not worried about. These were the ones we were worried about. These were individuals that we were worried about. And they made it through and are doing amazing things. If you only knew the stories, and when I say amazing, I can say amazing. I thought about that on my 2-hour drive here, and just proud and appreciative of my experiences within the Waterloo schools and some of the things that we're doing now. So yeah, I'm humbled. I'm appreciative, and I do want to reiterate a couple of dates that Dr. Smith went over. Our next town hall meeting will be October 17th at Antioch Baptist Church, address 426 Sumner Street. Note the time; it's a little different from the first. We're starting a little later in the evening to give those families opportunities to get there. 6:30 p.m. We have another town hall meeting on October 21st at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in Evansdale, 4031 Lafayette Road in Evansdale. That also starts at 6:30 p.m. And the WCCX ribbon cutting ceremony and celebration will be on October 23rd. The next time we'll be in this room will be October 28th for our board meeting at 5 p.m. Tonight was full. Seeing Stacy, blessing, everybody that came and presented, the students, the IB, AP. We're going in the right direction. So I'm gonna go home, finally get to sleep in my own bed after a couple days, and just keep pushing. So, is there anything else from? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, Chair votes aye, We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. So Jonathan, out of my 47 student athletes, 6 a.m. practice, a third of them had perfect attendance. A third. That says something for those kids and those parents.